I'm going to talk about network marketing tonight. It's a topic that we haven't talked about in a very long time, and it's a super important topic. And I notice when we don't talk about it for a while, we tend to get off track a little bit. There's just some minor intricacies that are super important to building a successful team. And if those of you that have been around for a while, if you really take a look at what we're doing, we're doing a lot of the right things, important things right now. But there's also some other things that we need to be doing if we want to have a growing business. So network marketing is the model that we are part of. And it's important to know what network marketing is. So network marketing is a way to distribute products and services. And the key word is distribution. Every product or service has a system of distribution. If you think about it, think about any product. There's a system for getting that product into the hands of the consumer. So how do you get the product or service into the hands of the right people? If you're on XM radio or Pandora or YouTube, you'll hear ads played intermittently between music or videos. Well, who pays for those ads? The advertisers pay big money to get their message in front of people, hoping that some will bite. They don't know. They spend hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars without any guarantees that they're going to get customers. A lot of it is testing. It's a big risk because they're spending the money up front with no guarantees. And who is ultimately paying for all that advertising? Why are greeting cards so expensive in the stores? Well, you got the greeting card companies are advertising, but it's even more than that. 80% of those greeting cards never get bought. And who pays for the cards that never get purchased, but they had to pay to have them printed? They end up getting shredded. Who pays for those? It's the people buying the cards. So just like that, in the marketing world, companies that spend large amounts of money on Facebook ads and Pandora ads and YouTube ads and everywhere else you hear or see ads, those companies don't have a guarantee that they're going to get customers. It's ultimately the end user of the product or service that pays for that advertising. The inefficiencies inflate the price of the product or the service. And it is an inefficiency because they're spending all this money and most of the people that hear the ads never take action. There's a sliver that do, and that's what they're counting on. So what is the best form of advertising? There's no doubt. You ask any business professional, they will tell you word of mouth is the best form of advertising. So a network marketing company will get the word out, that's us, through distributors, consultants, or affiliates, and the companies pay them, the affiliates, instead of the advertising agencies. But it's a better model because think about this. It's important. The company does not have to pay until after the customer is gathered. So they're only paying for customers that are gathered. So there are efficiencies around our distribution model that give us an advantage in the marketplace. And this is the reason why we can charge 1/5 the price that Hallmark or American Greetings charge. And on top of it, there's an unlimited opportunity for growth for the distributor, the affiliate, or the consultant. The more business you bring the company, the more money you make. And if it's a product or service that's used repeatedly, then you will continue to get checks weekly or monthly as long as it continues to be consumed by the customer. So products that are consumed every month, and what we offer is a product that is consumed every month, just like nutritionals or hair care products or things that you see distributed through network marketing. If it's a consumable and there are reorders every month, that throws off a check to the person that brought that customer to the organization and the people above them. Just like in a traditional business, when a product is sold, there's lots of people in that organization above the customer that get paid a sliver of that customer revenue. But the part that is invisible is that all this money they're spending on advertising and marketing, that has to be absorbed by the sales of the customers that are coming into the organization. So if customers came in automatically, like if they sold themselves, you hear people say, well, that product sells itself. If customers came in automatically, companies would not need to advertise, or they wouldn't need to contract with the network marketing company. They wouldn't need to have that as a system of distribution because customers would just come in for free. We are a catalyst for growth. Without us, there is no growth. There's no marketing that's done outside, none that's done outside of us. So it's all word of mouth. The company doesn't have to pay until after the customer is gathered. It's brilliant. But without us, there's no growth. And the best form of advertising is word of mouth. So I'm reading a book right now called The Third Door. The subtitle is The Wild Quest to Uncover How the World's Most Successful People Launch Their Careers. And it's a story of an 18-year-old that hacked the game show, The Price is Right. And on the game show. He was a broke 18-year-old. He won a sailboat and he used the money to fund his quest to learn from the world's most successful people. This is when he was 18 years old. He was named to the Forbes 30 under 30 list and Business Insider's most powerful people under 30. And he describes it as life and business is just like a nightclub. There are three ways in. There's the main entrance where 99% of the people get in. They wait in line. They pay an entry fee. Some of them never even get in. There's the second door, which is the VIP entrance. That's where the millionaires and the celebrities get in. But what no one tells you is that there's a third door where you jump in front of both the lines. And that's what the book is about. I was reading this book, and the thing that really struck me the most is that virtually all the success of this author, and it's a lot of success, and everyone he refers to in the book came from offline, old school networking. And he gives intricate detail on how he did it in a non-boring, exciting way, telling stories, and actually in a little bit of a comical way. But when you hear everything that this kid went through on his journey to success, you really go, you know what? I get it. It's his journey through insurmountable failure and radical success, his persistence, his will to win, that all kept him going long enough to find the biggest opportunities. And he was standing right next to Steven Spielberg at a party that through networking he ended up at. But one of his goals was to strike up a conversation with Steven Spielberg and become his friend. And he missed the opportunity to talk to him because he hesitated. He waited too long. He used offline networking techniques to eventually interview Tim Ferriss of the 4-Hour Workweek on his podcast. He used old school traditional methods to end up shadowing Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos, the shoe company. And he learned the power of a story through his mentors, some of them that mentored him from afar and others that mentored him in person. He actually got to shadow Tony Hsieh at the Zappos headquarters as a result of networking and meeting the right person at the right time. He didn't go through the main door. He didn't go through the second door. He went through the third door. Talks about exactly how he did that. So here is the foundation of building our business. I'm going to give you three things, three simple things. Number one, and this is where the magic happens, guys. Number one, you're going to need some customers. Customers are how we get paid. And I suggest starting with 20. Do it and teach it. Think about it. If you just did that, if you got 20 and taught other people to get 20, and that's all you did, what would happen? Do it and teach it. So on your journey, you'll be constantly getting customers. But to start with, you need to have 20 loyal customers that will use us till the end of time. And if you lose a couple, or if they're not loyal, then you get a few more. You're going to be on a constant quest for customers because not everybody's going to want to be an affiliate. The $20 10 card challenge, it's a great way to accomplish this because everybody who buys that is a customer. So your first goal is to get 20, and you want to set a rock solid goal. Maybe set a rock solid goal to collect 2 customers a week for 5 weeks, or 5 customers a week for 4 weeks. Whatever it is, set a goal. And Callie's been talking about this. Then do it again. Stay in the cycle of constantly looking for people that would be willing to try the challenge. Number 2, that's number 1. So you're going to need some customers. Customers are how we get paid. Number 2, you will need affiliates. Why? Because the growth of your business doesn't happen without some duplication. Affiliates are an important component in the growth of your business. Without it, your business doesn't duplicate and you don't grow. Someone who wants to build a business pays $14 per month to have access to our back office, to the tools, and to the compensation plan. If you think about it, the company has spent millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars putting together the infrastructure, the back office support, all the technology, the app. Think about all the money that's spent in distribution, in the production of the product, in the research and development, technology, all the stuff that's done in the background costs millions of dollars. And we have access to that for $14 a month. We can benefit from that. You're going to need affiliates because the growth of your business does not happen without some duplication. Number 3, teach 1 and 2. That's it. 1, you're going to need customers. Set a goal to have 20 loyal ones. 2, you're going to need affiliates. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And 3, teach 1 and 2. That's the whole foundation of building the business. There's nothing else. Everything I talk about from here on out is more about how do you do this? Like, how do you actually make 1, 2, and 3 happen? But that is the fundamentals of the business. We haven't talked about that in a long time, but it's super important for you to understand why we're doing what we're doing and what are the actual fundamental steps to building business. So this is the foundation of our business. Now, how we get there is networking, word of mouth, sharing a good idea. There are millions millions of people looking for a business right now. That's why the business opportunity space is exploding right now. You see it all over the internet. They're seeking the right business for them, but how will they know about your opportunity? How will they know about our opportunity unless you tell them or show them? How will they know if you don't show them or you don't tell them? It's the only way we grow. It's the only way you grow. So what are the fundamentals for building a business? I'm going to give you 3 fundamentals. Number 1, your dreams. Why are you doing this business? What's important to you and how will an income stream support this? So you want to be clear on why you're doing the business. What are your dreams? That's number 1. Number 2, your network. What are the 2 to 3 basic things you're doing every day to grow your community, both online and offline? You don't want to try and do everything. Focus on the 2 or 3 things that will support the growth of your personal network, because your network is your net worth. It's everything. It's the connections you're making with people. And we've got the most powerful business tool on the planet, send out cards, for nurturing that network, for making sure that the people in your network feel appreciated and know that you care about them. So your network is your most valuable asset. Your dreams are your fuel, but your network is your most powerful asset. And you need to have 2 or 3 things, like it might be BNI in the Chamber of Commerce, or it might be spending time in a particular group and offering advice for building relationships, and something else. It might be a weekly get together at a coffee place where you invite friends and they invite friends. Whatever it is, but your network is built through 2 or 3 things that you've identified is going to be your intentional mechanism for meeting new people. Number 3, we've kind of talked about that, and that's your daily action. This is where the rubber hits the road. Knowing all the other stuff is confirmation that you're onto a good thing, but really it doesn't make a difference. The only thing that makes a difference are the basics of building, and the basics of building are simple. From your network, make contact. From your network, those are the people that you're connected to, the people that know you care about them, the people that you've met, the people that you've built relationships with. First, make contact. Second, have them send a card. Third, go over the website plans. And fourth, sign them up. And fifth, train them. Now, in this process, as you're making contact, you're introducing them to the $20 10 card challenge as a way that they can try it. This also includes your daily action. Step number 3 also includes your follow-up. Follow up with daily cards, follow up daily with invitations for a Wednesday webinar, invitations to attend virtually or in person the prompting seminar, invitations to attend prompting to prosperity, invitations to try the 10 card challenge, texts and emails. Follow up is part of the most important aspects of your growth. Follow up with the people that you meet, follow up with the people that are your customers, follow up with your affiliates, and following up is the differentiator. So there's a lot of people that do a lot of this stuff, but they miss the follow-up part. That's really what makes us special. We have the ability to do that in a way that no one else does. Following up is the differentiator. And in any business, if you own a roofing company and you're not following up with your customers and with your prospects and not following up with your referrals, all these things, you're going to miss out. And the company that does that, they're going to stand out. It's the differentiator. It's the people that take the action to follow up. This is what Joe Girard was best at. Joe Girard wrote a whole book about it, how to sell anything to anyone. He was the master of follow-up. And as a result of that, he sold 13,000 cars and made it into the Guinness Book of World Records 12 years in a row, 100% by referral. So just some special notes to kind of wrap things up tonight. Number 1, people are people. There was a top earner in my last company. He was the number 1 earner, and he was from the Lexington, Kentucky area, and he had a thick Southern accent. He used to say all the time from the front of the stage, some of you remember this, "People are people are people, people are people." That's what he used to say. April understands that link, don't you, April? So people are people. Some people are solid. Some people are flaky. Some people are great communicators, and some people are horrible communicators. Some people are quitters. Some people follow through on their commitments. Some people, they say they're going to do it and they actually do it. Some people say they're going to do it and then they ghost you. That's just the nature of people, and people are people. And you just have to be okay with that. I mean, and literally, it's the day that you're okay with that everything gets easier. Like, it doesn't even faze me when somebody tells me how rich they're going to make me and then 2 weeks later they're gone. Doesn't even faze me. because I know there's people out there that say they're going to do it and they actually do it. When somebody flakes, or if somebody doesn't follow through on their commitments, or somebody lies to me, it's what it is. People are people. That's number one. Number two, it is a mental game. Don't plan on staying up all the time. You're not going to be up all the time. You'll be up and you'll be down, but you have to keep putting in the work even when you don't feel like it. And it can be tough. It can be really tough. And I have felt every emotion. I've had days that I was depressed. I've had days that I was excited. I've had days that I was motivated, and I've had days when I was feeling like a bump on a log. But it is a mental game, and your brain will play tricks on you and start to convince you that it's not worth it. Your dreams aren't worth it. Your brain will do that. You have forces that will work against you. And that's why it's so important to constantly be working on yourself and staying in action. This is a saying that says, doubt will take you out of action, and action will take you out of doubt. Action will take you out of doubt. Number three, if your heart is in the right place, you will have the right words. If your heart is in the right place, you'll have the right words. I want you to take a look at something for me. That isn't something that you need to memorize. I want you to take a look at something for me is not something you need to memorize. It's something you feel when you believe in what you're doing. Think about it. If you really believe in what you're doing, it's easy to say to somebody, I want you to look at this. You don't need a script. And if you use a script and your heart's not in the right place, it doesn't work. So your heart has to be in the right place. You need to know why you're doing it. You need to know the intention behind it, and the words will come to you. I want you to take a look at something. I'd love for you to stop for a minute and just check this out. Number four, width represents income and depth represents security. And this works in the business building world. It works in the investment world. Width is what you do yourself. It's your personals, the people you bring in, and depth represents security. And rapid growth through width is very brittle. It's like a very shallow root system. It doesn't have a lot of long-lasting qualities. Depth, on the other hand, it's like anchoring your organization. That's first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, down in your organization. The more depth you have in your organization, the more secure it is. Does that make sense? So width is very surface, going this way, depth goes this way, and you have to have width before you can have depth. Width is planting the seeds, but there's a lot of volatility in planting the seeds. There's a lot of security in depth as you anchor your organization deep down. So your goal is to work with first, second, and third generation affiliates. To work with first generation, second generation, that's the people you bring in. And third generation are the people that you brought in, people who brought in people, right? The third generation. People you bring in as first generation, people they bring in as second generation, those people bring in are the third generation. And you want to work with everyone in those first three generations to drive depth in the business. Because your first and second generation, the people you bring in and the people they bring in, they may not have the motivation and the drive that you do. So if you meet somebody on your third generation that's excited, that's doing something, that's contacting you, showing up on the weekly trainings and things, you want to get to know those people. So be careful of making people too dependent on you. If people attach themselves to you and they become really dependent, you need to push them away just a little bit. Your job is to get them started and to launch them. So be careful of making people too dependent on you. Driving depth is a conversation worth having, but you can't have depth in your organization until you have some width. So you need to bring people in personally. And if you're bringing in those $20 customers, the 10 card challenge customers, some of those people will upgrade to subscriptions and some of them will want to be affiliates because they want to share it with other people. That's number four. Is width represents income and depth represents security. And number five, the last one, is relationships are the glue that hold everything together. An organization that grows with no relationships, no connectivity between the people in the organization, those organizations tend to fall apart. So teams that communicate with each other, that talk with each other, that share ideas with each other, that collaborate with each other, those teams are like glue and people stick around long enough to have some success. But if there's very little communication, that's why getting people into the Facebook group is so important so they can interact with and collaborate with other other people that are in the business. That's why it's so important to get people on to Rally with Callie so that they can see each other's faces. That's why it's important to periodically do get-togethers with your teams and even hold meetings if you want to. I mean, that's a great way of creating that bond between people. It's the relationships that are the glue that hold it all together. And I'll give you an important example of this. Amway, who's been around 50 some years, they do over $1 billion per month in revenue. That's $12 billion a year. That is a big, substantial network marketing organization. And most people there don't make money, yet they stick around for years. And the reason why is because they are experts at building community. The better you are at building community, and that can be online or offline, you can build a community with Zooms, you can build a community with workshops, you can build a community with a group, you can build a community with meetings. But the better you are at building a community, the longer your organization is going to be around. And the longer your organization is around, the more likely you're going to experience some success within that organization. So those are some of the fundamentals of network marketing. I covered a lot tonight, but if you go back and look through what I talked about, listen to this again, I think you'll pull out the pieces that are really relevant to you and that can really make a huge difference in your business. So with that, guys, have a great week, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye, everybody.